This is Boston Lanka's special series on upcoming presidential elections in Sri Lanka. I am Chitral Dimel. We now join with Najah Mohamed, General Secretary of the National Front for Good Governance, NFGG. NFGG is one of the constituent partners of Joint Opposition Front that supports the common candidate Maithripala Sirisena. From 1999 to 2000, Najah Mohamed worked as an assistant lecturer at the Department of Social Sciences at the Southeastern University of Sri Lanka. He is actively involved in peace and human rights activities among Sri Lankan expatriate community in Europe. He has participated in many seminars, conferences and discussion forums in the UK and Europe to promote peace and to find a political solution in Sri Lanka. Najah, could you share a little bit information about the organization that you represent and the role your organization intends to play in these presidential elections?
Yeah, thank you, Chitral, actually, for giving this opportunity for us to share our views on the forthcoming presidential election 2015 in Sri Lanka. Our organization called National Front for Good Governance. So basically this organization started in 2006. Now we have been working for the last 8 years, especially in the East. Now we are working in national level. Our main focus is we believe that good governance is the most important area for a country such as Sri Lanka to develop and build the nation, as well as to for ethnic harmony and peaceful coexistence, as well as for the economic development. So when you have the good governance, only the people have their due share in resources, in opportunities. So that will bring more understanding and mutually respect each other, as well as the dignified way of life for every citizen of this country. So we have realized that establishing good governance, promoting good governance values in our politics as well as our administration can bring many solutions to the problems of Sinhalese, Muslims, Tamils, Burgher and any other segment of the community of Sri Lanka. So because we have been suffered with 30 years war, as well as the lot of tension between the communities based on ethnic, religious, language and cultural line of thinking in politics, especially this communal thinking polarized the communities. So we feel that we need to have a common agenda or a common point or common interest where everybody can come together and work together for the betterment of this country and the future generation. That's why we thought the good governance is the most important area any political party need to focus. You can see we are very happy, although we started in 2006 with this concept in a very small way. The very theme of the existing, the forthcoming presidential election, the theme of good governance is spoken widely with all the leaders. So we are very happy to listen and see the development. So now everybody realize that all problems of this country can be solved by establishing rule of law and the good governance values practiced in the politics, political culture, as well as in the administration. So in this respect, actually, we have joined this opposition movement very early for the last 3-4 months when this subject of presidential election discussed in the political arena. National Front for Good Governance very positively see this move, and we have joined the national forces and different political parties. We discussed with this extensively with many leading political parties like United National Party, JVP, and as well as with the national movement for social justice, which is led by Venerable Madhulawe Sobita Hamaduru, as well as National Council for Cleaner Tomorrow, which is led by another monk, the leading monk, JHU parliamentarian, Venerable Atulliya Ratana Hamaduru. So we all joined these forces to establish the good governance by changing, reforming the existing constitution, particularly the executive presidency, as well as the demolishing the 18th amendment, and to bring back all the 5 commissions, independent commission, which can bring democracy and the rule of law, as well as the good governance in the administrative system of all these important areas like police, judiciary, the anti-corruption commission, and the election commission, and the public service. So these are the major key areas where you need to have practice the good governance and the rules and the regulation, and especially the independency without interference of executive or any other organs of the government. And also the electoral reform, the present election system in Sri Lanka led to many difficulties, as well as very uncivilized political culture, and this system alienating the statesmen from the politics. So this system allows to the big businessmen or the robbers or the wrongdoers to come into the mainstream politics by back door. So this system allows for that.
As we record this interview, the Muslim Congress is yet to take a stand on which candidate that they're going to support. Now, in your view, how would you evaluate the performance of the Muslim Congress working as a partner of the government?
Actually, the Muslim Congress, as a party representing the interest of the Muslim, particularly the North and East, they miserably fail to address the Muslim issues. Although they are part of this government, they have given the full support for the 18th Amendment, enabling the President for the 3rd term to contest and to abolish all the 5 commission which was established in the 17th Amendment, and they have supported to form the Eastern Provincial Council with the government. So many concessions has been given by the Muslim Congress towards the government, but in return they miserably failed to safeguard the Muslim interest, especially during the last 2.5 years when this law and order was collapsed, and when these extreme elements were allowed to do freely their hate campaign, which is ended up of destroying the more than 150 houses and business places, and burnt in Alutgam and Berual and Dargah town. So even in this scenario, the SLMC miserably failed to do that. So that's why people has decided, before they decide, to support Maithripala common candidate. If you go and see in the Eastern Province now, before the SLMC leadership, political leadership take a decision, people have started mobilizing themselves, and they are organizing pocket meetings, they are organizing public meetings in support of common candidates. So there is no difference with other parts of the country and the Eastern and the Northern Province. The Muslims, as other rest of the country, they all involved in this process before taking the decision from the Muslim Congress. So that means the people are not waiting now the leaders' decision. Now they take the decision. They condition the leaders to make to come on the align on the people's the way aspirations and their way of thinking.
As somebody who are closely working with people, what are the expectations of the voters in these coming elections?
Actually, in the major concern of everybody, Sinhalese, Muslims and Tamils, the excessive corruption in this government is the major concern. So this corruption is well known. It's a well known fact that this government is especially this regime and the president and his family members and very close associates to them are making a lot of corruptions, and that is the major concern of the people generally, and especially minorities. They feel they are not secured under this government, especially Muslims. If you take last two and a half years, they have been facing so many incidents against them, which is not controlled by the law enforcing agencies. We started with this kind of the grease yaka that was during the month of Ramadan, which is the holy month for Muslims. So during that period, if you take, they couldn't perform their religious activities, rituals, especially in the nights. The ladies were not allowed, or there was the conducive environment for them to come out from their home and go to the mosque and to perform their prayers. So that was started with that. Then you can see the halal issue. It came in a big way, and also the harassment for the cultural attire of Muslim women. And the Quran is the holy book of Muslim. So it was misinterpreted, and it was misquoted, and it was taken out of context, and it was interpreted in a different way, in a violent way. So all these things were not controlled, or law and order is not imposed on those elements or the extreme elements. So these are the major concerns Muslims have in this election.
Now, Muslim community was not happy the way the government acted during the violence in Aludgama and Bedwala areas. Do you think now most of the people have forgotten what happened and willing to give another chance for the ruling party?
Actually, not only the Muslims, even the majority of this country, Sinhalese, Tamils, upcountry Tamils, everyone very happy with the president and his performance in ending the war and bringing the peaceful environment for the country in 2009. And his historical statement, it was admired by everyone. What he said was, there is no longer majority minority in this country. We are all Sri Lankans. So that means people took that message very positively. So they realized that there is no such a discrimination in this country, majority or minority. We are all same. So that means we will be treated as an equal citizen of this country as we Sri Lankans. But unfortunately, what happened, every move this government took in 2009 towards end of this year, more polarization, more ethnic tension, more corruption, more violation of law, and the collapse of law and order in this country, and the judiciary was interrupted, and judiciary was not allowed to freely make because people lost the confidence. To that extent, there are political interference in the judiciary. So it is not only the Muslims; the whole country is now turned back. You see, before that, in 19th of December, the November, the date which was announced the election, and that time the people were looking for an alternative, but the opposition couldn't find an appealing candidate. But fortunately, now this Maithripala Sirisena's left the government, and he joined the opposition, and is leading the opposition, and the people has more hope and trust on him. He will bring the changes to this country. So now the people are rallying behind this opposition force to bring the change. That shows that not only the Muslims, whole society of this nation, whole people of this nation has realized that no longer this government is people friendly, or it can bring prosperity for the future. So they need for a change. So that change is expected by Muslims as well as everyone.
In any election, minority votes are very crucial. If either president or common candidate would wish to have a larger percentage of the votes from the Muslim community, what needs and concerns that they should address?
Now this the electoral performance of Muslim will be very significant in this election. As a party, we are campaigning for this. We encourage people to come out and vote in this election. So that mobilization is heavily taking place. So we are expecting more voter turnage of Muslims as well as others in this election. So this is a very historic election that the country is facing now, this presidential election. The Muslims, approximately, there are 1.4 million voters, so we are expecting at least to poll 1 million. Out of that, more than 80 to 90% will be polled to common candidates. So that means the total votes will be cast. This will be at least around 16 to 18 percentage of the total votes any candidate will take. So we think the Muslim votes will be the deciding factor, and the Tamil votes as well. So this will be a very crucial election for the Muslims. So in that context, I think the common opposition program is guaranteeing the security of Muslims and their cultural rights, their basic rights, and their economic prospectus. So the people's aspirations are addressed in this common program, which is signed by all the opposition parties, including us. So, and also this is a very confined program. You can see opposition common candidate has released the 100-day program. It starts with 10th of January and it ends up with 23rd of April. So it's a very, very targeted achievement, will be within 100 days. So in that 100 days program, most of the issues are addressed addressed Muslims, Sinhalese, Tamils, what they are expecting in this country to bring such a reform where their due share will be ensured.
Now, there were some concerns from the sections, especially from the organizations like Budwala Sena, that there could be some violent elements among the Muslim community, especially among young people. Do you agree with that assessment?
It's actually, we totally deny this. Actually, there is no such element in the Muslim community. This was told time to time by different elements, especially the extreme elements. But every time the Muslim community and the leadership, especially the civil society leadership, responded very positively. If there is any elements, such an elements which is alleged, is really in Sri Lanka, our security forces, our intelligence is more than enough, the capacity to identify them, to catch them, to bring them into the book. But it was never happened. We are happy to say our defense secretary some time ago, he repeatedly refused this, and he said, according to the intelligence information of our defense establishment, there is no such element in Sri Lanka. Sri Lanka is the most experienced country in handling the terrorism. They have defeated the LTT, is one of the best established terrorist outfit. So that has been totally destroyed through our armed forces as well as our intelligence network. So it is not a big deal. for our defense establishment to identify if there are such elements in this country. If it is so, I think the Muslim society freely they are ready to cooperate with the government and the law establishment agencies to identify such elements. I can remember some time ago, JVP leader Anura Kumara Disanayaka, he addressed the 100% Muslim audience and he thanked on behalf of the country, for the Muslim community, for their patience and their peaceful approach to the problems they have been facing in this country. So the Muslim youth is the only group, they don't resort to violence or violence approach to their problem in this country. It is proved.
My last question, Najah, in coming days, what are the actions and strategies of your organization to get the support of the Muslim community for the common candidate Maithripala Sirisena?
Yes, we have joined this force very early stage of this process, and we educating the Muslim community on this election, what is their role, and we are mobilizing the people towards voting in this election. That process continuing now. So we are accelerating our campaign. We are planning more pocket meetings and larger meetings, and we are conducting door-to-door campaign as well. Especially we are publishing a 10-page paper, very special edition. Better Tomorrow is the name, the title of that paper. We are publishing 100,000 copies that will reach at least 25% of the houses of Muslim voters. So we hope that we can mobilize a big segment of the Muslim community, especially Ampara district and Batikalo and Trincomalee and Vanni and other areas also, to give a big part of the vote to common candidate.